Okay, so now I've got my georeference aerial photographs. I've added a georeference 1969 air photo, and if I just look around a little bit, see how things have changed. You can see here's Tempe Butte and ASU in 1930. Here's how it looks in 1969, and then here's how it looks now. And these are all georeferenced together. The historic photography has a sort of 9 meters per pixel, 9 to 10 meters per pixel, so it's not really high resolution, but we get a coarse perspective. And if you need a higher resolution, you just zoom in more in the Maricopa County website and just export a couple more JPEGs, and then they'll have higher resolution you could georeference. So now what we want to do is we want to trace out a couple of things. We'll do some lines that represent the active center line of the channel, and then we'll also do polygons representing the kind of active channel extent. So what we want to do is go into Editor, click here on our catalog. We're going to go into that directory where I'm putting everything in the air photos, and then here I'm just going to right click. I have to be careful not to be on a file. Let's say here, right click, new shapefile. So let's do this. We'll say Salt River Lines and make the feature type a polyline so we can trace out the lines of the channels. And yes, we know it doesn't have a spatial reference, so it's in here. Let's do it again, new shapefile, and let's do Salt River Polygons, and we'll say polygon. So we know it doesn't have georeference, there's spatial references. So now if you go, let's go to our layer here, properties, and let's find out the coordinate system. So this is using the coordinate system of the base imagery, and that's kind of a little bit maybe complicated for us to specify. So let's just go in and set these polylines up using UTM Zone 12, which is one of my favorites. You could find it under projected UTM and NAD83, for example, Zone 12, or WGS 84 Zone 12. So I've got WGS Zone 12. Alright, okay. So I've got that one and specified, and also this polygon will do the same thing. And so even though the projections are different from the projections of the base imagery or the aerial photos, it's a little bit more local projection. Somehow it makes me feel a little bit more comfortable. It may not be that significant. So now we can go to our editor and start editing. And so it gives us an error about the spatial reference not matching the data frame, but we shouldn't have a problem. So now over here you see this little button. It's a create feature, so that gives us these this kind of toolkit over here. So we click on Salt River Lines, and then the construction tool is line. So what I'm thinking of doing is, for speed, I want to turn off the reference base map, and I'm just going to do 1930 as the only thing that's on, and my lines. And so now when I click on this, I can go to the edge of the map, and I'm just going to click where I think it looks like the center line of the channel is the kind of most active, and it looks like typical desert river has more than one. I'm just going to keep going. I had a snap, so I want to be careful. Basically has snapping, so if you go to Editor, snapping toolbar, our snapping is a little too big. So let's say the snapping is maybe 5 pixels, and what this does is it lets us find it when we want to touch another edge of a line or a polygon. It will help us find that edge. But that jump was too much, so now I'm going to go and I'm going to edit that file, and I'm going to grab that vertex and put it down here because that was too much. So let's keep going. We're going to keep just sort of draw out some lines. So if I get close enough, you see I'm snapping, so that'll get me right on the end of the last line and help me start my current one. So we're coming in here, you can see kind of the Tempe Buttes right out a little meander there. So you see there's no photo that exists. That's okay. I'm just going to start again here. No need to map what I don't see. Okay, so I've got 3 lines. I can zoom to layer. I can turn off the base map and see where the channel has been. So let's go ahead and do stop editing. I definitely want to save my edit. If we go back to our catalog, I can go into the Salt River lines. I'm going to do properties, fields. I want to add another line, which is year, or another field name, I should say, another entry. And this is going to be number, because I want to say, and these, let's say they're going to be short integers, so they're, like 1930, 1969, or 2015, let's assume. Okay, so now when I go in and I come back to the editor, start editing, go to the Salt River lines, and I can open the attribute table. I can say, well, the thing to be able to do is if you click on one of these guys, you can see which one it is. So we know this is 1930, so I can just type that in. I'll go do the next one, 1930, enter, 1930, enter, 1930. So this sets it up so then the next group that we'll do will be the 1969 photos. So let's just kind of keep our little attribute table handy, but not too much in the way. So already you can see what's going on is that we can see where the 1930s channel was and where in 1969 things are. It's actually kind of difficult to really say where to put the active channel. I'm just going to go down the middle here. It's not as well delineated because there was so much mining. You can see in this area just north of the river, that area has been reclaimed in those 39 years. So now we can go through. It looks like I can see the active channels kind of on the north side there. So in some places it didn't move. So here's where we had that gap. It's a little bit less certain. I might have wanted to stay down there, but I'll come through here. This area looks about the same. So I had a single thread in 1969 for the channel. So I've got those. Now let's we'll zoom to that layer, and we can do turn on our base map and turn off the other image, and we'll just do the same thing. Now here we know that the Salt River channel has been really modified, so start them about where the other guys are. So there's not really as easily defined a center line here. I'm going through basically the lakes, but I'll just take the middle of Tempe Town Lake then, so you can see the change in channel position over time. Looks like this part's not too different. Although look at that, there's been a lot of change up there in that area on the way to the airport. So that last one was, we don't know the exact age of the reference data, but we can assume it's 2015. Okay, so I've got that done, and make sure to do editor, stop editing, save the edits, otherwise you'll lose them. So we can now kind of turn the reference off and zoom to our layer, and then we can go to properties, symbology, categories, value field year, add all values, and then you see we have these colors, green, red, and blue, so we can see the kind of changing channel over time in the Salt River. Okay, so now let's do the same thing for the Salt River polygons. We'll turn the Salt River lines off. The polygons are there. One thing we want to do is put those fields in while we remember. We could get that started. So we'll do year and that short integer again. Now I can go ahead and start my editing. And it's given us the same error about the mismatch in the coordinate systems. Let's turn on the 1930s. So here, this polygon needs to be visible, and then we'll see it over here. So I'm going to just click polygon here. So I'm just going to, the idea now is just to click out the active belt of the channel. Okay, so we've got those two. We'll right click, open attribute table. These guys are 1930 and 1930. Okay, so turn that one on, turn the 1969 on. Now, one thing we can't see through our polygon, so if you quickly just make the fill color no color, make the outline color something we can see, like a yellow, that'll help. And now let's go ahead and we're going to click another one. So we're going to okay, so now we can see, zoom to layer, channel polygons over time, and turn off maybe the base material so we can see that. And so now let's go properties. Let's just start with categories, add all values from the year. So we can see then, basically you get a sense of the sort of narrowing of the channel over time, and also kind of the push of it away from ASU, and maybe go ahead and make this into a map. So switch over to layout view. One trick here is to, if you go to page and print setup, where you can change this to landscape, and then basically resize that data frame. Okay, so now we can pull this over, zoom in a little bit more, and then we probably want to go ahead and insert a north arrow. and insert a scale bar. Try to use the metric system. And we can insert an explanation or legend. So these two guys there. So usually I feel like it's redundant to say legend if it's pretty simple. So here we can just do as I had showed before, clean this up. You can change how this is written here without changing the file name. And then maybe we can say Salt River active channel. And we can do a few other cleanups. I see on this Salt River we don't want that all of the values shown. Turn that off. And then go ahead and go into right click on the explanation properties. Okay, so style properties. What I like to do, or no, we don't need the heading to be showed. So what that'll do is it'll just show the lines with the year, and then same thing we'll go back and do. So it's a lot cleaner now. It's not trivial. It seems like sometimes to clean the explanation, but it's a decent looking map. And then you could decide if you wanted to leave the base map on for reference,